Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about 4 trades that I think the Washington football team could make at the November 2nd trade deadline. 2 of them will be if the Washington football team are sellers, and 2 of them will be as buyers. And I'll also talk about if I think the Washington football team should be buyers or sellers at the November 2nd trade deadline. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Please hit that like button and turn on those notifications. It really helps out the channel a ton. Also, make sure you guys go ahead and check out WinView. They got a bunch of contests, including some for tonight's Thursday night game, and of course, Washington's games every week. You just got to, answer 8 questions before or during the game, and you can win some money. Let's get right into the video. So, the November 2nd trade deadline is coming up pretty quickly next Tuesday, and there's definitely some moves that the Washington football team could make. And, I am not going to include Deshaun Watson in this. I think it would be really nice for Washington, to be able to get their franchise quarterback, but I think it would be smart to wait until everything settles down with his lawsuit so that if he's innocent or not, and then you can make a move if he's innocent, because if he is, I would give up a bunch for him, because we need our franchise quarterback to have some sustained success. But, let's first talk about if I think they should be buyers or sellers. So at this point, they don't have that many players that they could sell that they would be willing to sell. Because obviously, players like Terry McLaurin, Chase Young, guys like that, Jonathan Allen, they have value. But Washington isn't going to, want to trade them. But there are some players on the team that they could, move and get some assets for them. So we'll talk about that. And I think, really at this point, I definitely don't think they should be buyers. If they can get someone for like a 7th round pick swap, or even a 7th round pick, or a 6th round pick, I am fine with that. Definitely fine with that. And if they really feel like they can get a player that they believe can be a part of their future for 3-4 years, then I'm all for that. But I don't really want them to go trade a 4th round pick for a guy that's going to play, the rest of the season, going to play 8-9 more games for you, and that's it. That's not something that I think Washington should do. I think they should sell, some of their players away, trade some of their players away that have value that they think that won't be here next year. And also, go ahead, if you really like some players on the market and you think you're getting good value for them, and you think that they will be a part of your team for more than just this season, then I'm all for making a move there. So let's get started with the first one, and this is if Washington is a buyer at the trade deadline. They obviously desperately need linebacker help, and Myles Jack would definitely be an option there. He's one of the better linebackers in the NFL, and they are definitely a team that could potentially trade Myles Jack. I'm not sure how Urban Meyer feels about Myles Jack, but Urban Meyer made a bunch of moves trading a bunch of players, 1st round pick CJ Henderson, so it's definitely a move that's possible. I again don't really want to give up too much, not sure what the market is for him, but he is one of the better linebackers in the NFL and would definitely improve our linebacking core and would really help out our defense, and he could be a part of our future the next few years, because I do believe he is under contract. So that's someone that I would be in favor of potentially trading for if we end up being buyers, but I'm not willing to give up a huge amount for him. Let me know in the comments down below, first off, if you guys want to be buyers or sellers, and what you would do for Myles Jack, who could be on the market. One player that I think Washington could potentially trade away. I know people love Tim Settle, but he is a free agent after this year. There is no way Washington's going to be able to pay him, because he is getting no playing time for Washington, or very little. But the league knows how good Tim Settle is. He is a starting D tackle on almost every single roster in the NFL, but here he is not, because he has Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, and Matt Ioannidis, ahead of him. So I think he will leave this offseason, not because he doesn't like it here, but it's just that he knows he will be able to have a bigger role in another team, and that will lead to more money. I think he'll get a solid contract, maybe like a 2-year deal, and we could potentially get a compensatory pick for him, because I do think he will get a solid deal. But he could also just go a 1-year deal, a prove-it deal with another team, get some big numbers there, and then get paid. But I think there is a market for someone like Tim Settle. There are teams needing pass rushers, and he can get to the quarterback. I mean, last year he had like 5.5 sacks, and he was our 4th string tackle behind, John Allen, Deron Payne, or actually he was our 3rd string tackle because Ioannidis got hurt, but still, he was really good for us last year, and he's been good this year, but it's just that he's had a limited amount of reps. So I would consider trading him away, despite, I love the guy. He's a great guy, great player, a good player, but I think that they could get some value for him right now, and I do not think he will be here next season. So I think that's a pretty smart move for Washington to make. Another player that I think they should try to trade away if they can. I think it's very unlikely, but if they can get anything worthwhile for Brandon Scherff, I would definitely do it. If they can get a 3rd round pick, which I think is unlikely, again, I want to repeat, I think it's unlikely, but if they can, a 3rd round pick for Brandon Scherff, maybe a 3rd and like a 5th, that would be worth it, because you're able to get a 3rd and a 5th round pick for this coming year instead of a potential 3rd or 4th round compensatory pick in 2023. So that's something to keep in mind if there's, a team struggling with, their offensive linemen, or, a team has, some injuries at that position. Maybe they're willing to trade a 3rd round pick for Brandon Scherff. Of course, that would have to be a team that's in win now mode, that thinks they can, they really have a window. So if anyone has a serious injury this week on Sunday on another team at the guard position, maybe that opens up a scenario where Brandon Scherff gets traded. I just don't think his trade value is that high. He's very, very talented, one of the better guards in the league, but the team would be paying him a bunch of money for half a season, and a guy who's very injury prone. He's still a great player, but I just think that there's not going to be that much of a market for him. But the reason if Washington could get something good in return for him, I think it would be great for Washington, because they would get an asset, a 3rd, 4th round pick or whatever, and they still have a viable backup in Wes Schweitzer, who's a good, he's a good guard. And most teams, he would be a solid starter for them, but he is sitting behind Brandon Scherff. So that's something that they should consider. If there's teams calling, I would try to trade Brandon Scherff. And some people might say, you're crazy. He's worth a 1st round pick. It's just, he's a 1st round pick kind of type of player, but the position he plays combined with the amount of money that he's, on the books this year, and also how much teams are going to have to pay him, and also the injury factor and he's only going to be, you're going to have to re-sign him as well. So a lot of factors going against a trade, for trading away Brandon Scherff, but I would definitely do it if they could. Another linebacker is Zach Cunningham from the Houston Texans. They are likely going to be sellers at the trade deadline. They already traded away, running back Mark Ingram. Let's see what they do next. But I really like Zach Cunningham. I think he's a good linebacker, one of the better linebackers in the league. I think his trade value is a little bit less than Miles Jack. This in 2020 had over 150 tackles, 3 sacks. Not amazing in coverage, but he's good against the run. He's a good tackler. He would be an asset to the Washington football team. I am not sure his current contract status, but I do believe he just re-signed a deal, so he might be under contract for a while. Not sure, again, what the market is for him, but I would not be, opposed to giving up a mid-round pick for someone like Zach Cunningham, because he could be a part of the future. Like I said, do not want to give up a 6th, a 5th round pick for a good player that's only going to be here for 6 to 8 weeks. That's not what you should do, especially a team right now that is 2-5, and who knows, maybe they can turn things around, but it's not likely. So you don't want to be wasting your assets. You want to build some of these assets, and that's why I think they should trade someone like Tim Settle, maybe Brandon Scherff, and maybe there's some other guys, maybe on the offensive line, some teams, maybe a team wants Sadiq Charles, maybe a team wants Cornelius Lucas, even though I don't think Washington will trade him. There's players that they could trade depending on, what teams are willing to give up for them. And I think Washington will end up trading a player away. And I think they should get some, assets back. And if there's a guy you really like out there that you think can better your team in the future and now, go ahead, pull the trigger. And Watson, like I said, I think it's just too much risk right now to do it. Also combined with the PR hit. I know it's really bad right now, but trust me, it would be even worse if we traded for Deshaun Watson, considering everything that's going on with this franchise. So maybe in the offseason we can trade for him, but right now I think we should wait a little bit until everything clears up. But man, he is a good quarterback, and he would definitely help us out because you need a quarterback to have sustained success. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. And yeah, make sure to check out WinView, and peace.